Hello, Assalamu alaikum everyone. I'm Zainab and I'm very excited to welcome you all for the first round of DICE Webinar Series 2021. Our topic for today's webinar is Business Analytics Explained, Data to Actionability. And I'm pleased to announce that our speaker for today is Mr. Saad Fareed and Mr. Ali Raza Anjum. Mr. Saad Fareed is currently working as a manager segment at Telenor Pakistan, and Mr. Ali Raza Anjum is the co-founder and managing director at DICE Analytics. Mr. Ali Raza Anjum has 10 plus years of experience in well-renowned telecom companies of Pakistan. His key expertise are in the domain of data science, machine learning, big data, data visualization, data-driven marketing, and customer value management. In today's webinar, Mr. Ali and Mr. Saad will be discussing about data-driven decision-making, storytelling with data. He'll be discussing different tools and techniques for today's analyst, career in business analytics domain, and much more. So I request all the attendees to note down your QEs during the session and discuss them in the Q&A session at the end. Mr. Saad will be joining us a bit late because unfortunately he got stuck in traffic. So I hope we all get the most out of this session. That's all from my side. Over to Mr. Ali.
Thank you, Zainab, for the introduction, and thanks everyone for joining. Till the time Satpreet will join us, I would try to start the session by just if you people can, we can call out some random names and you can give your introduction so that we can have idea that from which background you have joined, number one. And secondly, what are your expectations from today course so that we can discuss the things accordingly. So first, let's start with the Waleed Zaman. If you can type your introduction in chat window, please. Okay, Aman Jamil. Aman Jamil, can you please introduce yourself? I have opened your allowed you to talk. Okay. Wali Zaman, can you please introduce yourself in chat window? That will be really helpful to have an idea that what sort of audience is on our system. Can you please type your introduction in chat window? Next one is Amar Ahmed. I have given you permissions to talk. You can unmute your mic and you can introduce yourself. Amar Ahmed.
Hello.
Yes, please.
So I'm supposed to write my introduction in the chat.
No, you can talk as well. Like I have given you the access to your mic, so you can talk.
Oh, okay. So I'm Amar from GK. I'm doing CS. I'll be graduating in year 2024. I'm looking forward towards this session.
Okay, thanks a lot. Thank you. Next is Anas Raja. I've opened your mic. You can talk as well. Anas Raja, if you can unmute your mic and give your introduction, please.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum.
My name is Anas Shahid and I'm from GK, batch 28. I'll be graduating in 2022 and I'm looking forward to this session.
Okay, thank you. And what are your expectations from today's session? Like by the end of session, what are your expectations that what you wanna understand during these 2 hours or 1 hour?
Basically, what is business analytics in its essence and whatnot?
Okay, done then. So next one is Masuma Raza. I have open your mic and same introduction, introduce yourself and expectation about today session. Next is Erika Mrazigin, I opened your mic and you can talk. Like you can unmute your mic and you can give your introduction. Lukesh Kumar, I've also opened your mic. If you can introduce yourself.
Assalamualaikum.
Welcome.
Sir, my name is Lukesh Kumar from Islamabad. Recently, I have completed my bachelor's degree in computer science from Capital University of Science and Technology. Currently, I am looking for a job.
Okay. And what are your
Sir.
expectations from today's session? What are your expectations from today's session? Next is Muhammad Abdullah Tahir. I have opened your mic. If you can introduce yourself, please. Okay. Zaim Shakir. Next one is Sumaya Tariq. I've opened your mic, Sumaya Tariq. You can unmute your mic and you can give your introduction, please. Abdul Hadi Fawad.
Hello everyone, I'm Abdul Hadi Fawad and I'm currently based in Lahore. I'm a 2019 LUMS graduate, majored in management sciences, and I'm currently working at Systems Limited as a business analyst.
Okay. And what are your expectations from today's session?
So my expectation is to learn about the vast field of business analytics. So currently I only have a specific niche knowledge about the industry and the jobs that entail business analytics. So I want to know more and hone my skills regarding this domain.
Got it. Next is Amabele Alcala. I've like opened your mic. You can give your introduction.
Hi, it's Amabel. Actually, I just moved from the Philippines to New York, and I had problems with, well, there's been delays in my work visa. So now that I'm able to work, I just wanted to get a refresher of what I used to do, just so I could keep my skills up to date.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for
Thank
joining. So let's go with last three introductions. Zoeb Asif, I've opened your mic. If you can introduce yourself. Next one is Shaista. If you can please unmute your mic, introduce yourself. Rakib Mustafa. Last one is Rakib Mustafa. I've opened your mic and you can give your introduction.
Hello,
Hello, yes, please.
this is Abdul Hasib.
And your educational background, what are you doing, and what are your expectations from today's session?
I am associated from CA profession and
Okay.
currently strongly exploring data science field. My expectation for today's webinar is to understand the difference between business intelligence and data science and how they are connected.
Okay, got it.
Thank you.
So, so we will try, like, if you people can open request to open your mic, I will keep it allowing it so that we can keep the session interactive. So, and during the session, but we will go like to make the session interactive rather than making it one-sided. You can just unmute your mic and you can ask your questions, and so that we can rather than just making it one-way traffic, we can learn from each other that what is business analytics. And secondly, for the today session, like we won't be using any slide deck, rather we will be using digital whiteboard so that maximum engagement can be pulled off. So and those who have might, like if I will ask any question from you guys, you can start by like just plain answering, so that everyone can learn that what's happening or what's not happening. So can anyone contribute, like what do you understand when you listen to the term, like what is business analytics? Anyone, please?
What
If
comes in
anyone
my
wants.
mind from this word is that how my business is doing, or on in which direction my business is going.
Okay, how my business is doing. Anything else? Anyone else, please? Yes, Ali Shokat.
I think, Assalamu alaikum, this is Ali Shaukat from GIK. I think business analytics means using the data of your business or the historical data of your business and making valuable decisions and predictions for the future.
Okay, got it. Anyone else? Just one more question to move forward.
Yeah, this is Irfan here. And I think business analytics is about number crunching to get some insight from whatever happening in your business, to crunch the numbers and then work according to that.
Okay, so good. Like all of the answers were like quite to the point and what was expected. But let's like try to break this term.
And it's also help in future decision making.
Okay, future decision making.
I think if I talk about business analytics, about solving business problems using data, using data analytics, and yeah.
Okay. So, Charles, you want to contribute something? Okay. Uh, so let's move forward. Like all of the answers were more or less correct, and you can say that's the reason that there is no, like you can say that hard like a strong a definition exists with the strong, very well strong boundaries. Rather, it's a quite big or vast field, and there are a lot of like boundaries exist across the term. So so when we're talking about business, then what are the main business aspects, like how we can define our business? Can anyone help us, like when someone says that it's my business, then what it's talking about? Like what can be its pillars, what like what how we can define an entity, that this entity can be termed as a business? So anyone want to contribute? Anyone,
Yes,
please?
hello.
Yes,
Yes,
please.
any services that offers value in terms of services and products, I think it can serve as a business.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
any
anyone
service.
else?
Sir, I want to contribute.
Yes, please.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. First of all, I'm very happy that we are getting the session from the DICE Analytics. Sir, business के हवाले से मैं ये कहूँगा कि business definition is a modern definition के मुताबिक हम ये कह सकते हैं it's a kind of
Can you please
services.
continue? Can you please continue in English? Sorry to interrupt you because
Yes,
a
sir.
lot of audience.
No problem, sir. No problem, sir.
Sorry. Thank you.
Actually, the business is a type of services in the modern era we can provide anywhere from anywhere else, in my opinion.
Okay. Services. We talk about businesses. We are talking about services. Anything else?
Sir, may
Like
I
how
add?
we can.
I think
Yes, please.
business any activity to generate profit.
Okay.
The main purpose is profit.
Hi, my name is Pajda. I want to say that business could be in any entity, any a service or a product that produces value for your customers.
Anyone else, please contribute. Like maximum contribution from your side will keep me a lot of motivated throughout the session. because it's a remote session. The more contribution will come from your side, the more motivated I will feel, and the session will be really like I will really love to learn from you guys. Services generate profit. Anything else?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
This is Mudassir from UAE. I think businesses probably trying to solve some issues around the world, and if you solve them properly, then you can generate profits and do other stuff as well. But it's basically solving some issues around you.
Okay. So, so thanks everyone for your answers. But let's start. Let's move the discussion forward. Like when we talk about business, that this is my business which I'm running. Like first of all, first thing which comes to my mind is that there will be some sort of product, and or there will be a service, right? Then secondly, this service or product will be sold to different customers, right? So second pillar is customers, and third pillar is that I have to communicate with different people, that this is my product, this is my service. So there should be some sort of like communication channel. And the last thing is that when customer will buy it, I will get revenue, or you can say that profit or loss, right? And secondly, if I like move forward, then to provide a product to your customers through a communication channel to earn revenue, there will be a lot of people who will be working behind the scene. Like there will be HR team involved, there will be finance team involved, there will be, let's suppose, marketing team involved, there will be sales team involved, and then so on. Ultimately, these people are just like working on those four pillars: that what is your product, what are your customers, and then so on. So when we attach a like word with this, the term analytics, then it means I'm using a set of different statistical techniques, or different number crunching techniques, or data analytics techniques to figure out different W's across every element. For example, these elements can be what happened, second one is when happened, when it will happen again, what should I do. So we are just using 4 to 5 W's. We are just trying to explain, or we are trying to get an insight that, for example, if I talk about what happened, then if I launched a product, then I can say that, for example, how much sales has been driven through this particular product, right? So I have involved product, I've involved revenue, right? For example, when happened, it can be like a time bound thing. Like for example, what was the sale of my business in last week, what were the sales of my business in last year, in last quarter, or which of the product was sold last month the most. So we are just trying to touch base every element from these W's. If you can say it, that you can write it them here for everything, right? But my question to you guys is that, does like business analytics is so simple as it looks from this MS Paint or whiteboard drawing, or there's something different which makes it unique as compared to running normal operations and doing business analytics? What can be the difference between day-on-day operations and like fulfilling your task through business analytics, or doing business analytics job? Any hint?
Yeah, can you please repeat?
Yeah, my query is that we have just described business as like through 4 pillars, and then I've just like asked a question that, or just like show you a framework where we talk about 5 different W's, and we try to touch base those 5 W's across different pillars like product, customers, and communication and analytics. But my point is that, for example, how business analytics can be a different field as compared to other jobs. Let's suppose I'm a sales guy. So how a sales guy job can be different from a business analytics guy within an organization?
Sir, I guess according to my understanding, business analytics can be used for the predictions. So
Okay.
if we are predicting the future sales or the future trends from what has happened in the past, then I guess it is different as
Okay.
what you have written on the board.
Yeah. Hello. I think what separates them is that business analytics you collection of data, and it's also draw insight from those data, and also with that can also able to make predictions that will help the business increase their revenue or performance.
Okay. Anyone else?
I think it's more like uh, focused on like various kinds of information to make it more practical, data driven, something like that.
I would like to add something.
Yes, please, please, please.
Yeah, I have worked in aviation, so in aviation, like we have to buy, some parts in advance, and we need to keep them in store so that we can use them, and they are readily available. So business analytics or the usage of those parts are very useful, like which parts are failing most, and it's good to have them in the stores instead of like buying some wrong parts and they are there for years. So I think this insight is very useful there.
Okay. Really great answer. Really appreciate your how you summarize the business analytics. Anyone else? Just one more.
Sir, I want to add.
Yes.
Yes, please, please go ahead one by one.
Sir, I want to add that in 2 words, it is decision making on the basis of forecasting.
Decision making on the basis of forecasting, right?
Yes.
So there was one more voice.
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
Yes, Ali.
Go ahead.
This is Hazir Shabazz. So I think the main core thing which makes salesperson and data analytics guy differentiate their job description is the number of insights that one can get, the possibilities or the different dimensions which can only be seen in data while you are analyzing it. Because a salesperson is only going to process the data and just going to get the answers which he or she already wants to answer. But data analytics or a person whose job is in data analytics might find different questions at the end of the data analysis process, which can further lead to a new direction or strategic direction for the business.
Okay, got it, got it. So thanks everyone for your contribution. Almost all of the contributions were really to the point and concise and value adding. What if I talk about that if I'm running a business, then I will always want that I should be able to run day on day operations, or you can say that my I are to generate revenue in most effective way, because no one wants that, for example, each and every step within your business is going to cost you money or your time. So you want to for example, manage your business in a way that, for example, how you can earn more by just spending less amount of Like it's a function of time and money, right? Just give me a second, please. Sadhvi is just joining. So we were talking about efficiency, like effective, or you can say that efficiency is always there, right? So again, another question from you guys, that how you can bring this efficiency in your day-to-day operations, or you can say that how you can make more sales by like having small team of data, sales experts, or you can say that how you can increase what will be different options in your mind which you would opt that if I'm running a business, then my growth should be doubled within next month, within next year. Or you can say that if I am, as of now I'm serving my customer through 2 products, I want to add two like 20 more products in next 6 months. How I can do it effectively?
So targeting the particular market.
Targeting, any other thing, like how I can
May I say something?
Yes, please.
Yeah, you can analyze your data patterns, and you can also analyze the data patterns of the market, and then you can make better decisions based on the current trends of the market. And if you want to launch another product, for instance, then you have to analyze that what are your competitors are doing and how they are placing their product in the market, and then you can consult your current data, and you can make a forecast based on that current data, and this is how you can make a maximum efficiency out of your business.
Okay. What if I say that the first option like comes to my mind is that I will hire a lot of experienced people, those who have like pure experience of running the business, and they will be designing my better, like you can say that marketing strategy, my sales strategy, or you can say that my product funnel, or whatever comes to your mind, right? So these experienced people, our HR will be running the show, right? Do you agree with this point?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So if, let's suppose in my business I need 100 persons, let's suppose I have a budget of 100 people, or I have a team of 100 people. Do you think like if I will hire everyone with a 10 plus years of experience in my team, I will be achieving my, let's suppose, sales target, I will start achieving my sales target?
No.
Not necessarily.
I don't think that's the case.
Okay. Like we were saying, we previously we assumed that if I will hire experienced people, then I will be able to achieve my goal.
There is a higher probability that experienced people you can get more business, but not necessarily. I mean, it's not confirmed that after hiring those people you will definitely get, because market conditions are different, companies are different, markets react to those companies are different. So
Okay. So let's assume that there's a higher probability that I will be able to achieve my monthly, yearly, or quarterly sales goal, or and required objective, right? But what about profit? Like if I'm selling 100 rupees of like 100 USD dollars products per month, but my profit is zero or in minus. Don't you think like hiring 100 of experienced people is going to cost me a lot of money, right?
most definitely, yes.
So maybe I will be able to achieve my sales, but the profit will be really like they will be like peanuts, or maybe I will be losing a lot of money at the end of the day, right?
Right.
So ultimately, this is not the option which you have to follow. Like you have to use a mix of experience, and then you have to target those things, right? Now coming this to efficiency, I was talking about efficiency, I was talking about experienced people, and I was saying that yes, sales was high but profit was low, and secondly my cost all was also high, right? So so this is the option which I'm saying that this is not sustainable. Maybe my launching a new business where I'm okay that I have to invest and I have to build my brand name, then this strategy is okay, but this is not a sustainable strategy for a business to run their day-to-day operations, or you can say that to really become a long-term player in the market. That's not what a business will be like following down the road. So what you will be doing, you will be still hiring less per 100 people, but you will be hiring less post fresh people, you will be hiring middle management, you will be hiring experienced people, right? So now the thing is that to achieve the efficiency, the best like recipe in this is experience. How you can get the experience, like how a business can be run, how like what can be the different options through which you can get the experience within your team.
So by historical data.
So number one is that you will hire people. Second option is that the data has a lot of insights which can be used as equivalent to experience. The experience which were previously you were 100% relying on like experienced people, but now you are considering that the data will have enough insights and enough patterns which can help to provide the right set of experience to everyone. Like he may be a fresh, he may be a middle management, he will be experienced person. Everyone will be getting a different flavor of experience based on the data which was being collected by an organization from different perspectives, right? So the if I come to again revise the term of the business analytics. So business analytics is to run your business with efficiency by relying on data. So it's like rather than you, because previously if you would have hired 100% of experienced people, then most of the time the decision making was being done through their gut feeling, through their previous experience. There was no additional check that, for example, let's suppose I'm just like, let's suppose I'm running my business and I'm happy today. Or you can say that I just joined a business, switch my job, and in my previous company, I have observed that on every Friday the sales are higher, so I should not offer any sales on Friday. This is my learning which I got from my previous company. Maybe I joined a new company and just I'm less positive, I have the authority and I can push management team or marketing team to please that do not like open any sales on Friday, just avoid Friday days, right? But I haven't checked it on a new business that whether the same trend, the same experience which I learned from a previous business, does it 100% applicable on new business or not. Like there's no fact check which I will be applying on new business. If I'm just going to say them that yes, look, I have worked in this company for 10 years and I've looked at on Friday there is always a peak in sales, so I would request you guys, or I would recommend you guys to do not launch any sales on Friday for this new business. But what if I before the previous experience which I had, and I asked my team that this is my learning, this is my gut feeling, why don't you run this analysis on new business and come up with the insight that whether this Friday assumption holds true for this new business or not. So it's like business analytics is all about a mixture of your experience, which we call as gut feeling, plus fact checks based on data. So rather than relying only on your gut feeling, only on your like 20 years of experience, 50 years of experience, just like give it a second thought, just like cross map your previous experience with the facts. These facts can be provided by the data. So that's how now organizations work in a more efficient and more effective manner. And that's the term where the business analytics was coined, that you should before taking any decision, or before like you can say that even monitoring of the business, if you can monitor your business through different data streams or data points, then ultimately you will be successful in running your business in a more successful manner, right? So this is the term which is from where this business analytics terms comes in, right? So any questions so far? Then we will move forward.
So I would like to ask a question over here,
Yes, please.
if you allow me.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So, sir, this gut feeling term that you've just noted down over there, is that the same thing as domain knowledge? I mean, do you get that gut feeling from domain knowledge, or is it something else?
Like it's like domain knowledge, purely based on your domain knowledge, and domain knowledge is a function of experience. Like the more time you will spend in a business, the more you can see that the intuitive you will become about that particular business. So it's a purely, it's not like just like usually we say that they're not the sixth sense. It's actually the experience based gut feeling,
And
experience
so,
based assumptions.
okay. So one last thing.
Yes.
Naturally, the business and the usefulness of business analytics is only limited up to the sort of data, the quality of data that we have. Is that correct?
Yes. Because so that's why when we talk about business analytics, it's like usually people say that okay, if you can make good presentation and good PowerPoints, then you can be termed as a good business analyst or business analytics expert. This is not the case. Like it's a business analytics cover the complete journey, starting from data collection, looking at the width and depth of the data, and then how you are going to crunch them, and then such things. This term is called business analytics.
True. So, sir, do you think business analytics would be more useful after we have done something about, I mean, learning about big data and how it's handled? Would you recommend that as an expert?
Of course. Like you can say that if a person who is a big data engineer who knows that how to handle data, how to store data, how to ingest data, if he will add a flavor of business analytics, then a data is nothing until unless no one can extract the data, and secondly, and no one can build a business story over the data, right? So it's like if you talk me about, then this business analytics skill set is, you can see that from business point of view, this is the most sought skill set in any organization. That if a person who knows about big data, who knows about marketing, and he knows about business analytics, that how I can increase how I can use this data to increase my sale, that person will be like a diamond in a particular organization.
Thank you so much.
I have a question.
Yes,
What's the difference between big data, data science, and business analytics? What's the major difference between these three fields?
Okay, we will come to this slide. There is 1 to 2 slide which I will make, on which I will build the story. As of now, just to answer your question, you can keep this umbrella in your mind, that business analytics is a bigger term, and it should be considered like umbrella, and there come different fields under this umbrella, which constitute the overall domain of the business analytics. Like one of them is business analytics, business intelligence, and other one is advanced analytics, where data mining and data science comes in, right? And we will explain this further as well. Okay.
Okay.
So just to again to clarify to anyone else, that we will be discussing this topic again in detail. But business analytics should be considered as a bigger umbrella, where business intelligence and advanced analytics are its two core pillars, are two major pillars which should be kept in mind. Sarfreed, have you joined?
Gee, I'm here.
Yes. So over to Saad Bhai. He will like share his knowledge, and then we will continue the session again. Thanks,
Perfect.
Saad Bhai, for appearing
Sir,
in
thank
tough
you very
time.
much. Thank you very much for the call. Inviting me here. I'm sorry I don't have slides with me right now. I was called into a study session just a short while ago. So that's why I was a little late, and I'll be jetting out soon. So just to share my experiences since I've been associated with analytics and data analytics and business analytics for some time now. So
Saad
I
Bhai, can
think
you
it's
please speak a little bit louder?
yeah, sure. Let me talk like this. So is it better now? Please
Yes,
let me know.
please. Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. So okay, great. Swaip has a question. I think we'll be able to answer it soon. So just to shed some light on what business analytics is for me, it's something where you can combine numbers and context together, right? So the difference between, just to share my view on the difference between business intelligence or business analytics and advanced analytics and all of the other analytics that are going around in the world. Okay, is it audible now?
Yes, it's good now.
Okay, great, perfect. Please do let me know if you can't hear me. I'll try to talk a little. Okay, so for me, it is where you tie the data, and with data, you try to pull in the context, right? So people who are data scientists and data analysts or data engineers, what their job entails is to get the pipeline for the data up, maintain it, and then sort of make those advanced analytical models where uh, okay, so where we are actually trying to get the data ready. So that is the first part of data. Okay, is it better now? I'm sorry,
Yes,
but
much better. Much better now.
much
Yeah,
better now.
sir.
Okay,
It's much better. Thank you.
perfect. Thank you. Okay, so one part is getting the data ready, and once the data is ready to use for consumption, then people like myself come into play, right? So what business analytics people do is they try to make sense of the numbers which are coming towards them, and they try to understand the context of those numbers. So let's say, for example, if I say 32, uh, what comes to your mind? Anybody, please feel free to answer.
Age.
Sorry?
Age.
My age.
Age, okay. Anything else?
Environment size, waste number.
Perfect. So exactly. So it can be anything, right? So what I was thinking was 32 is the number plate of my car, right? So unless and until you don't have the context to the number, that number will not signify anything for anybody, right? So we'll always be trying to understand what the number is. So if I say 32 again, and you said one was age and the other was waste. So let's stick with this example and try to dig a little deeper, and hopefully we'll get to the bottom of this and know what the difference between analytics, business analytics, and data sciences is. So with age, 32 is what? Is it a high age? Is it a medium age? Is it a low age? How would you define that? Anybody, please feel free to answer. Let's keep it a very interactive.
Medium age.
It's a medium age, okay. And
Medium.
if we stick to waist size, then what is it? Is it still high, low, medium? Is it still medium, or is it low, or is it high?
In these days, it's ideal.
It's ideal. Perfect, perfect. But if we take this question to ladies who are in the room, they'll always say 32 is a bigger number. Or
Yeah.
for myself, even if I am, let's say, if I am 5 foot 1 inch, if I'm a short guy, 32 is a big waist for me, right? So
Yes.
we need to build that context before getting and understanding what those numbers are. Unless and until we don't understand the context, those numbers and all of the analysis that we'll do is basically useless for me, right? So always remember that you need to build a context and you need to understand that context behind those numbers so that you understand what the storyline is for those numbers. So business analytics revolves around not only number crunching, not only understanding, what segments are there, not only understanding how numbers are split, what standard deviations come into play, etc., but at the same time, we need to know whether those numbers that are coming to us are what we think they are and whether those numbers are what we would like them to be, right? So it is all about the storytelling and it is all about the numbers, how we see them and how we showcase them. So that's the first leg of it. The second leg of business analytics is, which I think is more useful, is it gives a quantifiable experience to any story or any approach that we are building. So what I mean by quantifiable exposure or experience is that if I say something is high or low, then you need to understand. So for example, again, if I quote here, if 101 or 100 temperature, is it high or low? Please feel free to answer.
Depends, it's a centigrade or Fahrenheit.
Absolutely beautiful, beautiful, right? So we need to understand again that uh, that what is the range for that? What are we trying to understand? So that's the second leg. Moving on to the third leg. Moving on to the third leg, what we business analytics people do is try to build a ecosystem of all of the numbers which are there, right? What I mean by ecosystem is that it has to have a historical significance. Numbers need to be there so that we can build a trend out of it. So this is where analytics come into play, whereby we say that we try to understand the current behavior, the past behavior, and based on all of this data's correlation, we sort of try to not predict but assess what the numbers are going to be like, right? So that is where the third leg comes into play, and that third leg is the basis of all of the analytics which is going around in the world. So what we are trying to do is, or more in simple words, is that we are trying to build a numbers based decision making process, right? We are trying to build in numbers so that our decision that we are to take drives from something which is quantifiable, something which inculcates the story behind those numbers, and also incorporates a gut feeling. Okay, so this part is generally missed out by most of the business analysts out there. So as a marketeer, as somebody who uses data to make decision making, to generate the revenue, or to grow my customer base on a daily basis, we need to not only have the numbers, but we also need to have a gut feel for those numbers, whether it is going to grow or not, right? So again, I'll I'll quickly reiterate. We need to really understand what the past behaviors are. So we are basically talking about why numbers are important. We need to understand what the okay, so what we need to understand is what the historical references are. From the historical references, we come on to what we are doing today, where we are standing right now, and from this comes on that what we are going to do tomorrow, right? So a lot of business analysts out there, or a lot of people who are data savvy, they generally tend to miss out the gut feeling part. Okay, so this is a new learning for most people in my field. So what they do is they've always said that data should be there to back the decision that you are going to take. But apart from the data which is there, no one in the world can tell you, no one in the world can tell you that what is going to be tomorrow, right? So for that, you always know and always try to assess that what that gut feel is going to be. But again, those gut feels are also built on numbers, right? So it's similar to a chicken and egg problem, which comes first, whether the numbers or the gut feel or the historical references or the context. I think it's similar to you taking a bowl of chicken corn soup. So when you take that one dip in the in the bowl, you'll get everything. You'll get the chicken, you'll get a very sliced piece of egg, you'll get the pepper, you'll get the corn flour taste. So a good soup is always going to have that mixture, but at the end of the day, it is going to give you that pleasure of uh, you know a good hot soup. So it's very simple. It's very simple that we data business analysts aspire for that perfect spoon of soup. So we are always trying to go towards that. So the fourth and final leg for this entire decision making process is that you keep on going back to what you have to what your analysis is saying. So there is always a pre and post to all of the numbers that you have built. So as a business analyst and as somebody who uses decision making on a daily basis using data, we are always coming back to the data points that we've already built, and we're trying to improve on that. Always remember that it's not a moonshot. It's never a moonshot. It's always an iterative process. It's a very slow, steady, number-backed, story-backed, context-backed, gut-backed process whereby you are trying to improve it every time you come back to that analysis. So that is how you keep on improving any model that you've built, any forecasting model that you've built, any segmentation model that you've built. So you keep on coming to that and you try to improve that 1% at a time, 1% at a time, right? So I think that's about it on business analytics. I'm open for any questions that you might have. Please feel free to throw
Like
out anything.
before Sadhvi, before taking any like interviews, you have worked in Jazz, you have worked now working in Telnor, and you have also previously worked in a lot of organization on in South as well. So what you have seen like in like your experience that how business analytics term has been evolved, and particularly why this business analytics term has been so much fueled up in recent years, particularly in last 1 to 2 years. What was the change which you have seen that why this term has become not so much significant, not only from career building perspective but for business as well? What can be the reason? What are your thoughts on this?
Sir, I think uh, my short stint across telecoms and across oil and gas, across tobaccos, have shown me that at the end of the day, every business manager needs to have a data, you know, or rather a decision which is backed by data. So at the end of the day, whether it's the CEO who's sitting in the boardroom or it's a business analyst who is doing data crunching on a daily level, who is just building spreadsheets, I think the evolution in the last 4 years is that we have gone from less amount of data to more amount of data,
Sadhvi, we have lost you. Can you hear us? Sadhvi, can you hear us? Other people can hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you, but unfortunately, I don't think we can hear Southway.
he's joining back, but like as like there was a very good example by Saad Bhai that you should term business analytics as a bowl of soup until unless like this soup can't be made until unless you have the required recipes within it, and it can be like data, then the people who can understand the data, people who are open to like accept the things from both points, for example from the perspective of you can say that they are open to cross check their experiences or gut feelings with the data. So ultimately, so it's a long journey. And the second point which was told by like Saad Bhai, it's like business analytics is not a silver bullet, in short. Right? So what comes to your mind when you people say that business analytics is not a silver bullet? Hello guys.
Yes, this means the iteration process that you can never hit the bullseye at the first time. It's a gradual process where you keep on improving your processes and your understanding uh, with revisiting the analysis basis or your data.
Okay, okay, got it. So the way, like I just picked this line from Saad by words like silver bullet. So what can be the steps like which comes to when we talk about like it's not a silver bullet, it's not something should be considered like that you have bought a laptop or you have like bought a heavy servers in your organization and you are ready to run the business analytics show. What can be different steps what you have to like keep in mind just to enable them? Like what can be the steps which comes to your mind? Just like mention few things that how it can be termed as a, I would rather say it's a quite painful journey which you have to cover when you have to enable your organization for business analytics. How it can be termed as a painful journey, and more important, it's a slow journey.
First of all, you have to have your resources to gather the data.
Okay, then
Then you should be able to analyze it, and for that you have to have tools that can help you to analyze your data according to your requirements. And you have to refine the data, you have to organize it, you have to you should know that how you're going to implement it in which context you have to implement it, what is your objective to utilize that data. So it's mostly revolve around the data, and then comes your capability to utilize it, and also the domain knowledge, as you have already mentioned, is also very important part. That then all of these things you have to um, lay out your process on the basis of your resources that you have. And also I think can't think anything of more.
okay. Anyone else?
I think I'll take a step back and maybe really discuss since you mentioned the business analytics, the implementation of it at a strategic level. I think first of all, we really need to define the business problem, because from experience, companies don't always hire data scientists and data analysts and all these people just because they want to uncover sites from data. They usually define business problems which they believe can be solved using data. Then that's where they hire the data scientists, data analysts, and all that sort of stuff. And I think business analysts is also like very essential to the whole process, because one of the key problems in this industry is that there's a huge communication gap between business people and technical people. And business analysts are basically those middle that middle person which can communicate with both the parties. Like I've been in a situation many times where I think that the technical the solution that I would present for technical standpoint, it makes sense. But since me and the business person is not really speaking the same language, which often causes a lot of problems. So yeah, long story short, I think before starting the whole cycle of getting the data, analyzing it, doing your data wrangling and all this sort of stuff, first you need to define the business problem and really see like how exactly it can be solved using data.
Okay, got it. So just to like continue with the words, we will also like I had another example in mind where I will discuss that the data scientists are the new business analysts, right? And the term of citizen data scientist, which is quite like getting hype, that's there just to address that particular problem statement, the gap between the insight generation side, who is the technical side, and the side who is the consumption side, like the end users. There's a big gap exists between insight generation and inside the consumption teams. So we need such people who will be bridging the gap between them, and we will be, and ultimately the consumption of data analytics or consumption of data will be increased by it, and we will discuss it at the end of the session as well. I have this topic in mind, right? uh, so defining the silver bullet, like this was a very good point that first we should figure out the business problem. But ultimately, like when we talk about business analytics or enablement of anyone from career perspective for business analytics, or an organization for the business analytics, usually you do not go with you can say that a very very well defined business problem. So you have to first lock an area, and you have to lock some certain KPIs, that for example these are the KPIs which are important for me. I have to and these are the really critical element of my day-on-day decision making, and I have to track them. I have to build my strategy on them. I have to control them. I have to grow them. If it's related to revenue, it's related to loss, then I have to like mitigate. And then we define like business problem in this way, that these are the KPI which I will be highly interested to cater down the road. Then the second step comes in this way is the data collection, that for example whether I will be able to collect the data for it or not. For example, let's suppose uh, I'm working in telco, and I have seen that I want to understand that when a customer arrived with a lot of anger on my franchise, and when a customer walked in with a blue shirt and most probably he was happy, what can be the reason, or how I can make sure that every time a customer will walk in, if he will with an anger, when he will be moving my franchise outside, then I can check from CCTV cameras that he was like quite happy, that how I can improve my customer oriented or customer centric face to face customer experience through CCTV cameras. So I will then comes to this point that for example my KPI was the exit of my customers from my franchises with a happy and smiling face, but whether I will be able to handle it through data or not, or was I able to collect the data or not. So this is the second point which comes in, that when you're talking about business analytics, if you are looking business analytics from the career perspective, or if you are looking business analytics from an organization enablement perspective, then definitely you have to look at the possibility of data collection, that this data stream is possible to be collected or not, right? Once it's there, then the second thing is like a term which I listened from like Vikas Arshad. He's currently like head of business analytics in Telenor as well. Like an information is only valuable if available to right person at right time, it's accurate, and it's digestible, right? So it's like right information to right person at right time is the key critical factor which you have to learn, or if you are planning from an enablement of an organization, or if you are planning from the perspective of career perspective business analytics, then you have to learn this art. Like this is the really critical thing which matters a lot in the success factor of business analytics. Maybe you have started to collect the data, but you have like installed the CCTV cameras who doesn't like actually identify the smiling gesture of a person, which means that you haven't collected the right data, number one. And secondly, maybe if you're planning, for example, if you have installed the CCTV camera and it's transmitting the data after every 20 feet 20 minutes, when the customer walks out, then it means that for example you have missed the opportunity that if a customer was walking out with the anger face again, was making an exit from your franchise with an anger face, then ultimately you have missed the opportunity if you will not tag him there, right there and then. So that's like the information about the right time. Then the accurate way, I also told you, then the right person, that a person who is actually responsible for KPIs. Not everyone in your organization will be responsible for a smiling face exit of your customer from your franchise. There will be only few people, so that information should be readily available to only those people, right? And the last thing is digestible information, or you can say that like how you will assign this digestible information, or how you people can define this digestion of the information for the end user.
Like for example, if there is a CEO and you are making that data available to him, he cannot go through all the records of Excel sheets. So presenting it in a digestible graph manner would be information or example of digestible information.
Yes, yes, you're right. And that's where the term storytelling comes in. The term which Saad Bhai was telling this, that it's the storytelling which can be really a very strong zero multiplier. That if you're putting right information to right person and it's accurate, but it's not the way how he can digest it, then ultimately it will be a useless for him. For example, the pictures of people making an exit with anger and with happy faces from your franchise is not the information which is digestible by the CEO. You will be needing to build a dashboard where it will be a total count. For example, in my he will be interested how many people entered to my franchise with anger face, or how many people entered to my franchises. I need a total number. How many entered with happy faces, how many one entered with anger faces, and then when the people made an exit, how many one were happy, how many were still have anger on their faces. So these are the abstract level numbers in which he is interested. And this can be due to multiple things, like CEO has to do a lot of things, so he doesn't have time to count each and everything. But maybe there's someone, let's suppose, who's running data science algorithms. Then he need information which is not the way the CEO was looking at. He will be needing raw images just to train his model, just to predict the gesture of a particular customer just by looking at his CCTV footage. So business analytics in long term also cover this perspective, that right information should be available to the right person at the right time, right? And it should be digestible. Like it should be the way he understand, the way he looks at the perspective of a business. It should be in this particular format, right? Then the last thing is, like for example, the problem solving, or you can say that strategy building. This is the last step, which is really a forte of experienced people. Like a person who has 10 years of experience, he will definitely he's going to make the right strategy for a business, as compared to a person who has just started his career in a particular domain, right? So this is how we define business analytics. And ultimately, if you can say that why it's not a silver bullet, because every step involves a lot of multiple sub steps as well, which were highlighted by one of the participants one by one. That it's not only that you have installed a database and you have started to collect the CCTV footages, and ultimately you will be able to control the KPI of happy exit from your franchises. Then this is not the case. Like this will be a systematic, slow, and step-by-step approach, which will ultimately help you to do the things, right? So so that's like so far for the business analytics. Now we will have a deep dive into this slide deck. And again, as I mentioned, that we have prepared very few slides today just to make the session interactive as much as we can. So this is the best description of the business analytics, covering all of the two major aspects which are quite a lot in discussions today, right? So first of all, just ask any question if you have in your mind, and then we will move forward. If you people have any question in mind, please ask. I will be happy to answer. No question? Okay.
I have
So-
a question.
Yes,
Sorry,
yes, please.
Ali.
Yes, please.
The question is around storytelling. I actually have quite a few, but I wanted to, I wanted to get some more information about how the storytelling works. So there are a couple of questions. One is if there is a perfect formula for storytelling. Secondly, what do you think? How much of a general knowledge information, outside your business, is it important for your storytelling? If that's true. Thirdly, do you really, suggest your decisions while you are telling the story, or what is the right approach? And lastly, if I have to ask you to maybe tell me how would you go about telling a story about a pie chart of a gender mix for your HR dashboard?
Okay. I missed your first point.
I wanted to ask, is there a perfect formula for storytelling?
Okay. So I will cover this perspective, and I will borrow like a word context from Saad by words, like outside knowledge, right, and the right approach. It really depend upon the context, right? And you can define context in a better way the more information you will have in hand, right? The more information means the widespread of looking at the like here's your problem, and then you're looking at from different perspective. Like one of the example, let me tell you, let's suppose in telecom sector, the revenues during the during the wheat season from March till April is too high. Like this, that's the peak of the telecom sector, right? So what can be the reason? Like just if you will be looking at the internal dynamics of the business, no external dynamic. What question answers come to your mind that why telecom revenue will be higher in this area in this time?
It could be just because, in summers people have more time. I mean, the days are longer.
Yes, the days are longer. Anything else?
School vacations from the usually, the
Anything else?
There are no social gatherings, so people are generally communicating through phone.
Anything else which comes to like you people? Let me add one more thing. Like a big movement of people occur from rural areas, from urban areas to rural areas, just because they have to support the wheat cutting season to their families, to their landlord, and what there can be multiple factors, but really a big portion of people move from urban areas towards rural just to support the wheat cutting season, right? So when we're talking about like right approach of storytelling or out of the side knowledge, right? You could have added temperature here, right?
Right.
So all of these elements are coming outside from your day-on-day operation. Maybe the business, the data which you will be collecting from your within the organization from your centralized database or data warehouse is only about the charge, it's the trend, it's a history-oriented like product purchase data, the sales data, but none of the information is coming from the system which we have installed internally, right? So the right storytelling will be purely depending upon the context. Like for example, if you will be talking about April sales data, like April sales spike, then it will be a different thing to capture, and you will be needing a different context just to support your storytelling or just to support your insights. But for example, if you will be talking about like in December, the like you can say that revenue goes drop, like this is the time usually most of the telcos are observing the lowest revenue. Like what can be the reason here? You may borrow some context from here, but yet like anything else which comes to your mind? Hello.
As you said, wheat cutting season is not in December, so this may be one of the that reason.
Anything else?
I think people usually go abroad as well, take vacations and go abroad. And so that if you're talking about the Pakistan telco market or a location-based market, that could be also a reason.
Can I say like biggest reason can be north closure? People will be moving from
Yeah.
top areas towards lower areas, and there will be a very, like you can say that a lot of things that people move from upper boundaries to lowest boundaries, and they have shut it down their income streams. They will be just relying on their you can see that disposable savings which they have kept to run their monthly expenses or home expenses, and they are not willing to spend it on luxury items like telecom services. They will be only making call when it's necessary, right? So coming
Right.
back to the story polling point and linking it with the context, the storytelling can be only made better with a context. Rest of the things like your communication skills is one of the factor, right? Second thing is that when it comes to storytelling, that it's not the like you will just tell, you will open up one slide and you will say that north is closed, my revenue has been dropped. This is not the way you explain it, right? You will, for example, open this year revenue of December and you will compare it with the last month, last year, like there can be some you can say that standardized set of questions which you can add to your every business analytics or every business oriented presentation, but there can be a lot of things which you have to add related to context. But most of the time we start with the comparison, simple statistical comparison, that how much dropped as compared to last year, as compared to last week, last month, or if there is any KPI which is along with the revenue which is performing abnormally as compared to other things. So this is how you build the story. But if you comes to a perfect recipe or perfect approach, there is no perfect approach. It will always change from context to context, and the better context you will have, the better storytelling you will be able to do it, right? Similarly, here's the pie chart you have asked me again. Same comes to your mind. Like it's not only that on your slide there will be only one pie chart. There will something which will be on previous slide. There will something which will be placing on next slides. So that's how you have to look at your this pie chart, that how you want to explain it, how you want to like for example, on one side maybe it's a gender diversity related meeting, then you have to build a story which is supporting your gender diversity related decision making and insights. Maybe on the other side it's related to vaccination, then you have to build it accordingly. Or maybe it can be like there's a you can say that it's a field oriented job, and then maybe of course this is not the field where females get comfortable. So it's purely depends upon you, that what you were mentioning on previous slides and what you're going to highlight or propose on the next slide. That's how you can describe this pie chart in a better way.
Excellent. Thank you, Ari. Thank you
Right?
for the detailed answer.
Okay.
Yes.
So to summarize this, like context is really important. The more information you will have about this particular problem which you want to explain, the better you will be able to build your storytelling. So storytelling doesn't have the right formula. Of course, for being a good business analytic, you should be able to to make a good PowerPoint. There's no doubt in it. No one is going to make to look on your slides if you have used a very weak aesthetics in your color combination of your graphs, are the numbers are not depicting what you want to depict, what you want to convey to the end users. So a lot of things comes which usually, and storytelling is not something, there will be no training on storytelling. And if anyone is telling you that attend a 8 weeks training and you will be the master of storytelling, then that's a white lie, a white elephant which you have to bear at your end, right? So, any other question? Okay, let's move forward. Another, like if I ask you people, like what comes to your mind when you look at this umbrella?
I think the advanced analytics shows me that I would, there would be some IT or data analytics behind it. for me, and the business intelligence is something that is coming from my more from business or finance team in terms of that. That's what I understand the heroes behind the story.
Okay. Anything? Anyone else? Please, others also contribute. Like the maximum you
Sir, I want to contribute.
Yes, please, please.
Sir, in my opinion, we see this umbrella, so in advanced analytics, I think there are two types of analytics coming. One is the historical data and one is the market research. And business intelligence, that is the decision making.
Okay. Anyone else?
So I think advanced analytics is to do with the continuous data, and business intelligence is related to static, or just like one person mentioned, market research data, which is static, and decision based upon that data.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah. Advanced analytics use big data, or both they use big data.
So big data. Anything else?
Business
If you're looking,
intelligence. Hello.
sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. Please, please.
Business intelligence is more oriented towards technical domain. You can say that it's more technical, towards more and rely on technical side, like a
Okay.
person who has good knowledge of data extraction and so on, etc.
Okay.
Okay.
My question would be, Alibai, is that isn't business intelligence more in the context of data warehousing? So basically, you're getting data from multiple different data sources, and then you're populating your data warehouse. And then on top of that, basically, you've got your dashboards, which the end users, or should I say the business users, can consume. Yeah. So basically in the form of dashboards, which they can interact with, slice and dice and put the filters on. So I think business intelligence is more in the context of that dashboarding. And yeah.
You're right. You're right. You're right. Just to move forward, like the business analytics is a quite like wide, vast field. But if we can better like visualize in any of the like description or any of the picture, then this is the right picture which I could have found to describe it. Like this is the right combination of business analytics, that how you are going to define it, right? The second thing, there was an option like first there's an option that this side is more towards technical side. You can say that here is data, and on data there's a technical side, and then there's advanced analytics, which is commercial side, right? And business analytics people are the people who may be not 100% expert of business analytics, who they will not be 100% experts of advanced analytics, but they will have a fair idea of every domain, that how I can convert my data into consumable insights. And when I talking about consumable insight, then you can like bring to mind each and everything you to remind which we have discussed so far, particularly the right information to right person in a digestible form, right? So if I expand it further, when we talk about business intelligence and the technical side, then there are multiple things which comes into play, right? First thing is digitization. Like you should have a clear understanding about the strategy, that how you can capture any sort of data in your organization for a particular KPI. If you want to monitor a particular KPI, then how you can capture the data about that information, where it will be available, in which format it will be available. And this is something which gets driven by the digitization, where you convert business activities in the form of data, in the form of databases. Then there's something which is like I will term it as database. Then the next term comes here is data warehousing. Can anyone tell like what is data warehouse, or have you people heard this word first time?
Yes. So data warehousing is uh, has to do with the way that you are going to be storing data so that it can be easily fetched whenever is required.
Yes, you're right. But I will add again one thing context from Saad Bhai. It's about that how you can easily access the 360 picture of an organization from a one window. Like, and when I talk about 360, I'm referring towards context. That for example, a person who was walking to a franchise, what was his revenue when he bought my last sim, when he bought the last sim, when he made last recharge, right? Which product he was using, right? What was his gender? What was his district, right? So it's like how you can get all of the information from a single window or one window operation where you can get the right information with a lot of context from a one window in a short time and in a way in which you require. For example, maybe CEO will be looking at, as I told you, that CEO will be getting the data from same information. An operations guy who have to look at each and every image, he will be finding the data from same point, right? So this is the purpose of data warehousing. And when you have to work in business analytics, then you should be aware of the term data warehousing, because in business analytics, context is always like you can easily build the right and accurate context through data warehousing. That's the really one of the best practice, and which is one of the booming you can say domain when we talk about the technical side of the business analytics, right? The next thing
Can you
is,
please explain this? Can you please explain this point again? Data
okay,
warehousing point.
okay, let me like open, let's say let's say FBR an issue. This is the option example which I use a lot. uh, FBR has an issue that taxation network is not increasing, right? It's not going beyond less than 2 million, and they have committed with IMF that we will push this taxation network from 2 million to let's suppose 10 million in next 3 years, right? So can someone tell me like how they can achieve this thing? Of course, we are talking about data, then your approach should be coming from the data perspective.
Well, the thing is, data is going to be stored in different sources. So basically, we need to bring everything into one place, and we have to have the right data transformations and like the join operations between tables, so that we can have all the information, as you said, through one window, and then we can basically just query that data so that we're going to be able to get the information we need.
Okay, yes, you're right. So it's like, for example, if FBR want to increase the taxation network, maybe like there is NADRA data, right? There is, let's suppose, flights data, like from PIA or aviation. Then there is, let's suppose, the property which he owns, real estate data. Then you can say that there is like telephone, PTCL data. And then there is, let's suppose, the cars or the vehicle which is had. This is the data. So there can be many data points which are available, that who should be brought to taxation network and who should be not brought. Let's suppose this is, I'm sitting here and I got this KPI, and I'm here like sitting worried that how I will do it, right? First option is that I will send mail to this person, to this person, to this person, to this person, to this person. They will reply me through a manual way that okay, you requested this data, I'm sending you this data back, right? then you will sit here and you will like collect data, then you will integrate it. Like for example, if a person has a, for example, Honda Civic car, or you can say that any SUV, and he has, and there is an FBR data, you can say, which I pulled from my internal department, right? So while integrating, maybe I will be spending 4 to 5 days on collecting data. I already have spent 10 days because I have sent 5 letters with proper approvals to right person. Then they will share me the data. Then they have shared me the Excel files. Now it's not the in the format which like I'm not okay that it should be in Excel format. It can be other thing. And then I have to, for example, generate insights out of it. That for example, I have identified the people, that person has made 5 flights, has 2 houses, but zero taxation, right? Once this insight will be there, then I will have the right people who should be added into taxation network, right? So if you consider this journey, then this journey is so big, like it's almost in on just look at the numbers, then maybe it's already 25 days, like it's a complete calendar month that I was able just to generate, to highlight the people who should be the right audience for the taxation, or they can be sent a legal notice just to clarify that why you are not paying the taxes, your taxation is zero, and you are owning two properties in a particular area, right? So I have spent good 25 days, right? So when it comes to data warehouse, you can see that data warehouse talks about that this process, this reaching to this point should not be a matter of days, neither it should be a matter of hours. It should be a matter of seconds. If you want to cross tab information across CNIC, it should be readily available on your system, right? You should not be like sending different mails to handle different people. And secondly, maybe someone here, another important is, maybe they are using storing the data in DB, they are storing data in Excel, they are storing data in, let's suppose, PDF files, these are storing on let's suppose white papers, these are storing data in registers. So everyone will be maintaining data in its a different format. So what we try, that we try to encapsulate this process, and we bring all of the data into data warehouse, where we try that my data should be a standardized process, and the consumer who want to consume the data, who want to extract the data, it should, all of the technical limitation, all of the communication limitation, all of the business differentiation between let's suppose flights data and Nadra, this should not be the headache of the end decision maker. This should not be the mind headache, that how PTCL works. I should not be aware of about that person. I only need a CNIC and his last month paid bill, nothing more than that. I do not want to know that where its data is being stored, how it's being stored, how frequently it's being collected. This should not be my headache being FBR guy. So data warehouse actually like reduce all of the stuff, all of the time, to get the right information within a fraction of second, within a fraction of hour, with limitation, so that I can spend my those 25 days, rather than collecting the data, these 25 days should be spared for this KPI, that how I can achieve this KPI. Now I have got the list, now how I can achieve that. So it's like reducing the time and giving you the option to move towards a point where you can spend more time on strategy building rather than data collection. So data warehouse is like a central repository where we pull data from every point where data is integrated, and plus it's historically available. So this is the purpose of data warehouse. So that's why the data warehouse for bigger organization has become a really a big department, where organization spend millions of dollars yearly just to keep their data warehousing up and running.
Thank you, sir.
Right?
Thank you very much.
Okay. So next thing is the interactive dashboard. Okay, data warehouse is there, but now there's a lot of information. Again, the point of digestible information arises, that data is now readily available, but it's too much data that I have to generate insights quickly on a fraction of seconds, on a fraction, on just like few clicks away. That's how I have to handle this information. So there comes the term of you can say that the interactive dashboarding, where the tools like Power BI, MicroStrategy, Tableau, and other things comes in, like there should be capability where you can summarize the ocean of data which is captured under data warehousing, like you can turn it as interactive dashboarding, right? So again, now this thing was all about past. The data is this data warehouse or digitization is only going to tell you about that what happened in past. Your KPIs were declined in last week by this percentage, and this information is readily available in a consumable format. This is the term business intelligence covers, right? And when we comes to towards commercial side, then this thing talks about like future, and secondly this term calls about strategy, like if something bad happened, when it will happen again, and what I should do to mitigate the impact of that negative or reverse, you can say, that trend. That's come from future side. So here comes the advanced analytics side, where the bigger pillar is being contributed from the, you can say, that data scientist, data mining. That's really a big pillar in it, right? And the second is we also talk about them as commercial people who have better sense in the form of data, and they can you can say that commercial BI, those who can put those numbers readily available for the boardroom meetings. No, so there's a in almost every organization which is maturing with respect to business analytics or data driven decision making, they always have a separate team who are just looking at the numbers, not from the technical side. Here the people who will be working in business intelligence domain, they will be responsible to make sure that right data is available to the end user in the format in which he's looking for, right? But on other side, the data scientist will be like if something had happened, how it, when it will happen again, and they're always looking about future strategies and other things. And then if I remove this thing again, here's data, and here's the you can say that decision maker. Because when we're talking about decision makers, then we are talking about the people who are responsible for the KPIs in your organization. Not everyone will be responsible for the revenue of the organization, not everyone will be responsible for the sales, not everyone will be responsible for the you can say that new product offering or designing new products. Not everyone will be responsible for the R&D, or not everyone will be responsible for branding. Everyone will be responsible for the its own KPIs, right? So if I say, then business analytics is the people, the expert who can eventually, like you can say that, become a bridge between these decision makers and all of these you can say that the techno commercial area or arena, that how they can make sure that my sales guy need this report, from where I should generate it, how I should roll out this digitization strategy, how I should integrate it into data warehouse, how the data should be stored in my day-on-day ETL pipelines and other stuff. So you can say that if I summarize it here, then business analytics is coming from a combination of both sides, where data science is one of the key pillar here. That's why it's getting so much hype. It's not only hype, it's actually create a lot of value. That once the data is collected, it's readily available, how we can convert or how we can tackle future in a better way. So it's like this area is about past trends. This is now like to tell you people that what will be the future, and then this is the person who will make the strategy. Let's suppose if I come here, then I will take an another example here where I will close it, close the session. It's a, let's suppose the customer base management is a really big topic in every industry. When you talk about customer base management, then you talk about you, if here are your customers, then there will be the new customers who will be coming through sales. Then there will be customers who will be leaving you to other stores. and then there will be customers who will be coming from other store, like back to you, right? So can someone tell me, if I say that, let's suppose monthly sales are 100, right? Churn is 110, and like revivals are 0.5, right? Now tell me that, are these numbers are good, or what should be your strategy, or what you people will be doing? Anyone, please?
Churn is too high.
Churn is too high. Anything else? Okay, what's the major difference with this combination of numbers? Not only churn, like look at the cumulative numbers. After a month, what will be your numbers? You got 100 people, but you let go my 110 people. It's like making minus. Then there are 5 people, right? So this equation will land you to a number of minus
Negative
5,
5.
which means your customer base is declining every month by 5. So ultimately, like if you have a customer of 100, then it's telling you that, for example, after 20 months you will have 0 customers. So ultimately, using customer base management, your idea is to grow this cycle. You have to increase this number, you have to reduce this number, you have to increase this number, so that this number -5 can be turned into +5, and your this particular graph can start moving in this direction. So that after 20 months, where you will standing at a 0 customer base, you will have a double base of 100 customers. Here comes a very big area where data scientists work, is the churn prediction, right? To avoid people to move to other business, what you can do, you can give them an offer, right? Or you can reduce the prices, or you can improve the services, right? Hello.
Yes, yes, you're right.
Right. So when we talk about churn prediction, then like this is one of the example which I'm taking from advanced analytics example, that what these people are doing here. So it's like that, you have planned that you are going to give offer 10% discount to everyone, right? So tell me that, do you think like everyone was actually planning to leave you guys? There will be only a fraction of people in your total base. Not everyone will be planning to leave you. Do you agree with this point?
Well, in the past example, I think everybody was planning to leave.
But let's suppose that was just a quite strong and abnormal type example just came to my mind, but in a natural way, like in a
Yes,
routine way.
for example, in this pie chart, if we are onboarding 100 customers every month and we're losing 25,
Yes.
which is a churn number. So in that case, I think only 25% would deserve 10% discount so that we can stick
Yes.
them back to our business.
So if you will give 100% of the customers that 10% offer, that will be a too much of, even you are giving discounts to those people uh, who were actually planning to come back to your store. So it's like a loss. Probably if you wouldn't have given him a discount, he would have spending 100 rupees to on your store, but you have given them 10% discount. So ultimately what they are doing, that they will be spending 90% on your store, which means you're losing, or you're generating 10% of less revenue. So another thing is, for example, today is August, and if somehow I predict that these are the 30% people who will be churn, who will be making churn, or you can say that they will be dead in next week. I am talking about September 2021, and these are the 70% people who wouldn't churn. Then what will be your strategy?
We will offer that 30% with extra discounts, maybe even more than 10%.
First, what will be the first value add you will be getting?
First value add that we would be
Yes.
getting. What do you mean by
Like
that?
as compared to completely rely on giving 100% offer, you have engaged a data scientist and he have identified the customer who will predict. What will be the first, like from business perspective, what's the
Yes.
best value he has
It's
added
the
for
yes,
information?
it's the carpet 10%. It's the carpet 10% that we are saving.
Yes. It's like you have reduced your exposure by 70%.
Yes.
Law, right?
Yes.
So when we talk about data scientist, or when we talk about future prediction, that's the value which where from this particular umbrella perspective, this side is adding the advanced analytics, and this advanced analytics is zero without if you don't have a strong business intelligence department. And at the end of the day, business analytics is, if you will be only relying your business analytics on past, then again it will be not a good business analytics skills from a professional point of view and for organization point of view. Or even if you will be only relying on future, then again this is not something which is doable. So if I summarize it here, then to reduce this loss, this strategy that we have to opt this side, this will be driven by business analytics guys, and they will be supported by data scientists, and these data scientists will be supported by a BI team who will be responsible for the data. And at the end of the day, this person will be helping the decision makers who has the responsibility of, like who has the KPI of churn to him, because not everyone will be responsible for increasing the month on month churn base and then so on. So this is how we, you can say that we define business analytics, that there is no hard and fast definition. Rather, it's an ecosystem where you have to, from a skill perspective, you have to learn multiple tools. If you look at the different curriculums of the data business analytics, they will be teaching you Excel, they will be teaching you SQL, they will be teaching you some basic statistics, they will be also be teaching you you can say that some sort of strategy building exercises. So that's why we say that business analytics is not a core or a very well defined field. Rather, it's an umbrella field which is being derived by BI and business analytics. And further, if I break it, then you would have if you will search for the business analytics on Google, you will come to this terms as a lot, which is like descriptive analytics, predictive analytics, and perspective analytics, which is like actionability. It's like what was your past, describe your past, define your future, and take action. And this business analytics person is not one guy. Usually, as of now, how organization are evolving. The previously there was a question from someone that this is the person who is actually bridging the gap between the person who has the technical knowledge and the person who has the commercial KPIs assigned as part of his JD. And in this, the all of the term which we told about that what is happening, like what happened in past, what will happen, and what we should do it. So this is the term which we describe it as a business analytics. Now like that's it from my side. If you people have any question, I will be happy to answer this. Either those are from career perspective or from organization perspective as well.
Yes.
And there's another term, just sorry, I'm just like cutting you, interfering you. There's another term like citizen data scientist which is like, which shows, which tells that rather than asking and relying 100% on IT side data scientists, because they do not have limited domain knowledge, because that's how they are expert at it. They are expert on technical side, but they are not expert on non-technical side. But the citizen data scientist concept says that you should enable or you should transform your existing business analyst or business analytics experts to into data scientists, so that when they go to data science team for scaling of a churn prediction model, then they should be aware of all of the jargons, all of the life cycle which is involved behind data science life cycle building, so that the gap between the technical side and the commercial side of the data, or you can say of the business, can be reduced. So there is another term which is like quite famous nowadays, a citizen data scientist. And believe me, there will be time, there will become time, and I see it as at is that the data scientists will be the new business analysts or new business analytics experts down the road. So that's it from my side.
Yes, Ali, I have a question. So
Yes, please.
what is the difference between data scientist and data analyst?
Okay.
And also data engineer.
Okay. Here's the data. Everything is coming behind data, right? First thing is data engineering, right? The purpose, if I told you that the basics of business analytics is data, so you have data will be generated somewhere else, you have to pull it into data warehouse and you have to streamline it, or you have to transform it in a way that it should be available in a transform way which everyone can consume it as per its own way. So this is the job of data engineer. Is it clear? Like that data warehouse building,
Yes.
data warehouse building is the job of data
Engineer.
engineer. Now next term is data analyst. So now analyst role is not like to pull to gather the data from the sources. He knows that this is the department from where I can get the data. So he will be making different trends on day. Like he will be reading all about past, that my sales are growing, my sales are declining, or for example the ratio of male or females across my HR is declining, or you can say that a particular event, a product has been sold too much, a lot of complaints has been arrived. So this is the part of data analyst, and they will be usually like these will be sitting here in IT department, and these people will be sitting in the business side, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now the next term is data scientist, right? So when we talk about data analyst, like you can see that data analyst will be only looking from the perspective, from a limited perspective, that maybe he will be exploring sales from 10 different dimension, different 20 dimension, at max 30 dimension. Let's suppose he will be mostly relying on Excel or SQL, and to make the sense or to find the patterns, he will be mostly relying on his own intellectual properties, right? What if, like when we were talking about context, that when you are working on data warehouse, then maybe you have thousands of columns in your database just to define a customer, right? Then
Right.
you think a business analyst who is working on Excel and who is just relying on his analytical capabilities will be able to provide the like insight related to sales decline within hours, within days, if he has to read about 1,000 perspectives.
Right.
It will be too much time. Like he will be asking
Of
you,
course.
like I need at least 2 months. I will say him that, oh, after 2 months maybe company will kick me out when once you will be
Yes.
doing your analysis. So it's not like, so it's like the data scientist role is because the data, the dimension, the context through which the data is gathering, being gathered is increasing horizontally. Is expanding day by day, right?
Yes.
So now here comes the data scientist who actually, like who finds like what's your problem. I will find the relevant information through these 1,000 parameters within, let's suppose, hour, so that you can focus on your strategy, right?
Mhm.
So it's like before doing the analysis, I want to expand the spectrum of my context for my data analyst, but now I want to rely on statistical technique so that the analytical capability which I was purely relying on my mind, now I want to drive it through statistically algorithms. which are being like these are the algorithms which are known by data scientists that they are expert on it, that if you want to explore this problem statement and if you want to explore this problem, then how you can use the algorithm so that machines can just think like human brains and they can come up with the right patterns or the hidden information with your data. And the most important time is like every step is just there to reduce the time. And like you can say that previously the focus was more on like data collection or brainstorming, and less focus was on strategy and execution. And now this data scientists are like saying that I am going to increase your time so that you can focus on strategy and actionability. Rest of the things I will do it for you.
So correct me if I'm wrong, Ali. So basically, if I add on a middle tier in the data engineer, sorry, data analyst and data scientist difference that you have draw above.
Yes.
So for example, if I am a data analyst and I have 1,000 columns of data of customers, and I know how to extract that information and then work on those specific parameters and then, do my analysis without putting any statistical model into my calculation. Because
Not
from
without,
where I'm,
not you can say that without statistical like
because I think data scientists, the part where machine would automatically be going after the question which has been described in the machine language. I think that would be machine learning or AI. I mean, that's my personal understanding, because I'm trying to understand this for the reason that being a data analyst, my job is to cut down the columns and then retrieve that data from database and then work on that to come up with my own analysis. Whereas
I will be stopping you here. Just sorry to interrupt you. Here you have used a word like cut down.
Right.
Right. Like you are listing down the list of columns that to understand sales, I will be needing this information. Right.
Right. Which will be based upon the question that I'm trying to answer. So
Yes.
for every question, my parameters would change.
Yes. Right. And how you will define that for this problem statement, these should be the parameters which I should keep in mind based on your experience?
Based on my experience, based on expert domain knowledge, because I cannot be an expert for every domain. Neither can data scientists be.
Yes.
So I think I will be talking to domain owners or those specific domain owners to understand or ask them what factors or what parameters could be important for this analysis.
Okay, got it. Now comes to this. Like here you said that you said that 10 columns you will be reading based on your experience. Right? When you will come to data science, you will tell him that my sales is dropping. Right?
Okay.
Now data scientist will let's suppose it is a proper data scientist, then he will come up, okay, I just only need this problem statement. Rest of the things I will only come up with to you for the, you can say that you will share me the problem, where is the data available, which is the right data. I will tell you that which 10 column you should look. You're getting my point?
Okay.
So here you were purely relying on your experience, but maybe there are chances that market situation has been changed. It's not yet like came into your knowledge, right? But here any change in data patterns will help you to quickly identify those hidden patterns which you will maybe come to your knowledge after 10 days, but that data scientist has the capability to understand and to dig down and corner them off within 1 day, within 2 days. So this is the value of a data science. Here you were finding it at your end, but the purpose of data scientist is that you have to tell me that why my sales are dropping. I'm not here to tell you that look at these parameters. That can be a good starting discussion, but ultimately you have to tell me and you have to prove it statistically that these are the 10 columns and these are the 10 columns. For example, maybe there can be like these are the 10 columns, there 8 columns are old, while he came up with the 2 new columns which you were not making as part of your day-on-day operation being business analyst. But now data scientists have told you, like it's like a feedback loop. He will come to those business analytics or domain experts that I have observed this new pattern, that this is driving sale drop. So please keep this in mind for the next iteration, that if you will be doing any business analyst related job, then keep this aspect in your mind. This is the role of data scientist.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Right?
I have two quick questions.
Definitely.
The first thing is, how do you see that in the market, the organizations are defining the line between being a data analyst and being a data scientist, or is there, if you want to go into data analytics, then you have to do all the responsibilities, or is it a mixture of there is a in job description is the mixture of the skills and capabilities, or the lines are particularly drawn for each role?
Frankly speaking, as of now, organizations are moving towards merging these two things.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right? So they are that's why that's where from citizen data scientist concept came on, that a data scientist should have a knowledge where data scientist lacks in domain knowledge, where business analyst is strong in domain knowledge.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like complementing each other. So why we are having different teams and why we are making the insight generation process so long, right?
Okay.
So organizations are now focusing on that. In every organization there will be thousand of, yeah, you can say 100 of business analysts, but there will
Mm-hmm.
not be 100 of data scientists, right?
Okay. Okay.
So, and secondly, data scientists is you can say that has a lot of demands. So organization from HR perspective are facing a lot of
Mm-hmm.
challenges. So if you
Okay.
say that the boundary is now being getting more clear, that's not the case. The
Okay.
boundary
And
between data analyst and the data scientist is being removed, and they are saying that okay, we will enable existing data analyst for the data scientist so that I can have a bigger HR pool in my data, number one. And second, you have second thing is you can say that that rather than relying on data scientist and hunting of the data scientist high salaries, existing data analyst should be converted into data science.
okay. And can you quickly list the basic skills or the skill set for each of them, the business analyst and data scientist?
Okay. I will let me. I hope you people wouldn't mind if I take a help from Google for some pictures.
Sure, sure, sure.
I'm just copying the screen. I will take help of this picture, which I just picked from Google, right? And there was another question of artificial intelligence in data science. I will also explain it. So, if you're talking about a data analyst, then a person with domain knowledge, and when you talk about computer science, like he can pull the data from the system. Let me increase the size, right? So, data analyst is a person who is covering these two domains. He knows data analyst, he knows a basic number crunching, right? When we talked about data science, it's a multidisciplinary overlapping field. It's a multidisciplinary field where the third circle adds in, which is advanced statistical techniques, which comes from the field of machine learning and AI stuff, right? So here's the data science, which is at the center. And if you will only look at these two things, that the computer science related basic literacy, that he can pull the data, he can like write some queries through Excel or through SQL, and then based on domain knowledge he can crunch those numbers. We can call him as a data analyst. So overlapping of three fields where every area coincides: advanced statistical techniques, ability to pull the data, and like domain knowledge, then we call this term as data scientist. So that's how we differentiate between data analyst and data scientist. The only difference between data scientist and a data analyst is you can say that he knows that previously the data analyst was only relying on domain knowledge, that only I will be revolving my analysis on this 10 columns, and he has pre-logged those 10 columns. But a data scientist will be figuring out, he will be only asking out problem on which 10 insight I should rely. He will figure out it from data in its own self. Right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Clear?
Yeah, it's quite clear. I just want to know if which skill set we should have to be a data scientist.
Frankly speaking, like this is question which people ask me a lot, and the best thing which I comes as a like to give them an answer is that usually people start with Python and then they move towards algorithm learning.
Mm-hmm.
But if I recommend like a journey, that there are two options. End objective is to like become a data scientist, right? There can be a tough part which usually most of the people opt that they start the journey with Python and algorithm learning and then they move forward. But I recommend people that they should start their journey with Excel, with basic Excel understanding, so that they can have a basic idea that how rows and columns can be slide for required information. Then they should move towards SQL. Third one is data warehouse. Like they should be aware about the basics of the data engineering. Then comes these algorithms, or you can say that Python, and then the data science part. And then the last thing is the domain knowledge. For example, once you have gathered all of the information, then you have to figure out a domain that you want to get a job in banking, you want to get a job in retail, you want to get a job in telecom. This is how it should be go. It should not be like a haphazard, just I will learn the Python and I will become the data scientist. This is not the case. Ultimately, if you will slow down your journey, then the chances of your success, like for example, if you will be following this journey, on after 1 year, your probability of getting a data science job will be quite low. If you will find like you will follow this journey for a year, then after a year your probability of getting a data science job will be quite high, right? So there is no
Yeah.
shortcut
Thank you.
to job, so you have to slowly and gradually reach to the end point.
So what's the
Anything
point which you mentioned after Python?
It's the data science, like core AI side. We call it as core AI algorithms.
Like algorithms or different probability or
Yes, probability based, like
analysis of
what is decision tree, what is
statistics, basically.
yes, what is decision tree, what is naive based, what is SVM, what is random forest, what is like you should be aware of these algorithms. What is K means,
Right.
how it works.
Right. And sir, I have a very question which goes back to Saad Bhai's explanation as well. Normally, the last part which you have mentioned, which is domain knowledge, is the hardest to get. So, for example, I am in a financial sector, and I have experience of 20 plus years, and then I can understand the basics or why these numbers are moving. What could be the reason? For example, if I don't know that I am in a clothing business, how would I know if the wastes are, or you get what I'm saying, right? So I
Yes,
think domain knowledge and for example, um, 32 waste number. I mean, I know that there are multiple differentiations around waste, and then I enter into clothing business, and I find out that I'm not excited about that domain specifically. So, what could be my next step in that? I mean, it takes hard effort to understand the industry, and every single industry is different from the other.
Sorry, can I just add something to this question? One of the key things that I've been, one of the key challenges that I've faced is that, what I just mentioned, is that understanding the essentially when we're becoming a data scientist, we don't really know which company we're going to end up working for or which industry we might end up in. So I think just having a business knack is very important. So for example, if you start to work for any company, right? Sure, you've got your Excel skills, your SQL, your data warehousing, and all that sort of stuff. But how quickly you pick up the business so that you are able to communicate with the commercial side of the business, with the managers, the non-technical people, that is extremely important. Because I've been in situations where I know my Python, I know my Tableau, I know my SQL, that I'm not really understanding the business. And once you don't really understand the business, you can't really add much value because you're unable to contextualize all of that information. So I think I'll just summarize. So the domain knowledge, you can't really have domain knowledge of like every domain, but whatever company you start working for, I think it's essential that you really understand the business as best as you can.
Yes, and continue.
Yes, thank you, Hassan. One more thing that I would like to add here is you mentioned, Ali, about the couple of algorithms through which data scientist works and predicts the future of a certain KPI or a domain. So for every business, that algorithm or that formula through which you are predicting the future is going to be different. We'll be adding different factors, X factors, 10 factors, 30 factors. So just adding on to Hassan's question, I think, how would you answer that?
So first of all, the third circle of statistical learning will remain the constant. If you are working on telecom, the algorithm decision, I'm working on, it will be the same if someone is working in banking industry. This is constant, right? The only thing is that these two changing circles, right? So if you look at my like proposal of that how you can become a good data scientist with high probability of getting a data science job, I have placed domain knowledge at the end, because that's the thing where you have to limit yourself. As you will move forward, the application of this skill set will start reducing, right? So here you have to converge. So number one thing is that if you will you want to learn about domain knowledge, then the best learning can be only done through spending time. There is no course which is going to impart you a lot of domain knowledge. It can be only done, maybe a short course can give you a good starter, can be a good booster, but it's not going to make you expert, right? So that's why domain knowledge wouldn't come unless you wouldn't spend time on that industry, right? Number one thing. So there is no a pre-made training or pre-made course which can enable you to your domain knowledge. You have to spend it. And secondly, that's the reason, maybe for example I have spent 10 years in telco and I do not have a banking domain knowledge, but a data scientist who have just 6 months of experience, but he has worked purely for the last 6 months in the banking industry, he may come up with a very good model as compared to mine accuracy. And the driving factor will be the domain knowledge on which he has spent the time, right? Now Hassan bhai, if you can reiterate your question.
I know it wasn't a question, it was just more of a comment. What you just said is absolutely right. Like the domain knowledge, obviously you can't really be an expert at every domain, but the only comment I was making was that apart from all of these skills, like your Excel, your databases, your all of that sort of stuff, what's really important is to be able to understand the business as quickly as possible. Because what I was saying is that I have been in situations where I know all of my technical skills, I know how to program, I know about data warehouses, but I was just unable to understand the business. And that really can be a big factor when it comes to being successful in that role with that company. So just a business knack, like being able to pick up the business effectively, that's just a comment that I was making.
Yes, and and that's why the reason, like, you have to limit it to yourself. And the most of the time data scientists ask me that until unless I wouldn't get the job, I wouldn't be able to learn the domain knowledge. Still, like, the time era where we are living, information is everywhere. If you want to learn about clothing, then you can just like start with a basic forecast model. That you are not aware of the clothing business, then just go to few website, start collecting few of the data sets on daily basis, start dumping them to into your databases, and start building some basic forecasting. It will at least, like, the only thing someone can provide you is an entry to domain knowledge. But becoming expert in domain knowledge, there is no like ready-made solution in it. You have to spend time, and you will be there. But the perception people have made, that until unless I wouldn't get a job of like clothing industry, I wouldn't become a expert in clothing. But at least all of the information which is available on Google, if you just aware of about the data scraping and how to collect the data, at least you will reach to a mid level experience, that how clothing industry works. So there is no dependency which you should keep in your mind, that to learn about a particular domain knowledge, you should wait for the right job till you learn it.
Right. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Mabel, if you can add something like how you were working in business analytics, and how we drive the session today, how you found it different. Mabel Alcala, if you are on mic. Okay. So any other question? So we have 1 to 2 minutes. If there's any question, please share your questions. I will be happy to answer. Otherwise, we will sign out. And thanks everyone. Like, a lot of people have left so far. We started
Thank
with
you. It
roughly.
was a nice session and very knowledgeable. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. So
Yes, Ali, I commend the efforts that you have put in.
Sir,
Thank you very
I
much.
have
One
one question, sir.
yes, please.
one general question that I have: which tablet that you're using for your presentation, or which method you're using for your presentation?
It's XP pen. It's XP pen. XP, the Windows XP, like it's XP dash P and pen. And I'm using like
XP
pen.
pen. And are you using touchable screen?
Yes, it's a model. It's a 24-inch screen.
Okay,
I
perfect.
do not remember its model, but it's a 24-inch screen where you can write through a digital pen. Sorry, my
And this is
writing is too bad.
This is which brand?
XP pen. XP dash pen. It's a brand name. XP
Oh, okay.
dash pen.
Okay. Thank you.
Ali Shokat, Waleed Abdullah.
Yes, thank you for the nice presentation. It was very helpful. My comment is about this user experience of writing on the paint, right? So as an instructor, I would recommend you to try Microsoft Whiteboard. Okay, it's a free tool and it is very powerful. They have a lot of tools for explaining difficult concepts during the webinars or during the online classes. So
Okay.
it's
I
worth trying.
completely. Like, I haven't tried it. I will definitely give it a try. After your suggestion, I have opened it. I have tried it, but I couldn't like get familiar with it. But I
Yeah,
will. Like, a lot
it
of
has
people
a
have
lot of
recommended. I
powerful
will.
tools. Yes.
Thanks for the suggestion. I will definitely give it a try.
Do you have any more questions?
Sir, I have to ask a question, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, first of all, today's session was very good. It was very interactive. Sir, I am a marketing student, and
Yes.
I just have an overview knowledge of this business analytics field. And I'm greatly inspired by this field, and I really want to jump into this field. So I want to ask that what should be the first step? What should be the base and the first step, whether it's the programming languages, it's statistics, or what else? Should be the first step to start this career, sir?
Okay. Like, frankly speaking, what I learned, I've been training since last 4.5 years, and we have trained more than 15,000 like student across DICE analytics in this domain. Uh, Believe me, like, there are some buzzwords like data science is a buzzword, but it's a reality itself. Big data is buzzword. So people, when they want to understand, it's not about like that you should start your journey with a complex way. People jump to data directly to data science, and they start coding on Python, and they make their life, the learning journey too complex and too difficult, right? So that's why I would recommend, like in while we are working in university, Microsoft Excel is a tool which being a student, and PowerPoint is a tool. Being a student, we really hate the most. But as soon as you will get a job and you will get a laptop to work on, then believe me, there will be not a single day when you will not open Excel on your laptop, right? So that's how the perception about the basic tools like Excel and PowerPoint are different between the university life and the real life, that how they are different. So I would recommend that if you want to enter into this domain, any of the data related domain, start with Excel, then go towards basic aggregation through pivot tables, then advance of VLOOKUPs. That's the starting, that's the journey which should be started. Then SQL is a very simple language. It can be easily learned in 1 to 2 days if with the right guidance. Then from SQL, then you should move towards data science, and if you have more time, then must touch base data warehouse, and it should be a like slow and steady journey. If you will, and it will be a like less complex journey. But if you will directly jump to Python just because Python is so much into discussion 2 days, then ultimately after a year you wouldn't be anywhere. So I recommend people that break your learning journey into smaller steps, so that after a year, the end objective is after a year, after 6 months, your probability of getting a data science job or data related job should increase. If you will only limit yourself and start your journey to Python, the chances will be low. If you will learn a lot of multiple tools and will break your journey into 6 months, then ultimately the probability of getting job will be almost 2 to 3 times higher.
Right, sir.
Right?
Right, sir.
Okay. Anything else?
Sir, I have a question. For example, I have gone through the journey of Excel, and then my next step is SQL. So
Yes.
how would you suggest me extracting data from a personal computer, because I don't have a personal data warehouse from where I can extract uh, data from huge amount of data warehouse. So how do you suggest I should do that?
Frankly speaking, like you can, this is a very good question. Like you can just download SQL Server, right? There's a free
Okay.
version with a 40 GB of limit,
Right.
and there is a AdventureWorks related data warehouse, and there are two to three other ready-made data warehouses within that database. If you install SQL Server, you can install sample databases, and you can just start querying it on it from
Right.
perspective that you are looking on a real world scenario based. It's I guess detailed store data set. So you're looking at a real world retail oriented data warehouse, and then you can start your journey.
Right. And can you please write down it in the chat, the data warehouses, the free data warehouses sources, so that I can visit?
For free data warehouse courses, if I would recommend, it's CS04 by Virtual University. It's not hands-on oriented, but it will clear a lot of concepts from theoretical point of view, right? And
okay,
from like experimentation point of view, I haven't come like implementation point of view, I do not have any readily available answer to your question in mindset. The only thing I recommend is SQL Server, and
Okay.
it's Adventure Data Warehouse, AdventureWorks database.
Perfect, sir. Perfect. Thank you very much.
Like for the free version of SQL Server has only limitation of 40 GB, but it has a lot of data. Still 40 GB of data is a lot of data just to diverse the business.
Yes. And if you just know the tactics of extracting data from 40 GB data, I think you can easily do it from 40 terabytes or,
Yes,
140 terabytes.
Yes, exactly.
You're right. You're right. Perfect. Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Thank you. Anyone else? So, okay, guys, thanks a lot. Do follow Dice Analytics. And if you people have still any question, feel free to contact me on LinkedIn. You can search me on LinkedIn and you can just drop a message. I will try to be as responsible as possible.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you everyone for joining the
Thank you.
webinar session. Thank you, Mr. Ali Razanjul, for showing up and for delivering such a terrific webinar session. For those of you who were asking about the recording link, can message us on Facebook and also email us on info@diceanalytics.pk. Thank you, everyone. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Allah Hafiz, and thank you so much, sir.
Allah Hafiz.